One of mine.
No.
You want the little ones to say?
Well, Mummy's going to get up first. Would you like to do the pledge?
Lindy, can you stand up and say aye?
Ready?
Say aye pledge.
Go ahead.
Say aye. Not anymore?
I
pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we get started, we're going to discuss it later. I have several items to be put in your packets. Okay, and the first one is 239A. I think I have enough copies. And that'll be we'll deal with the letter from Virginia Long. She needs approval for the prize. That's it. I already got my copy.
I don't have the original to sign.
Was this supposed to be more?
Yeah.
Oh my
Earl,
God.
did you
I
get
must
the
have
original to sign?
Peg, it's right there.
Oh.
I got it.
Who got it?
What did I give you? Extra paper there? I probably did. What you got
We
there?
got through the same?
Yeah.
239A.
Oh, look.
We have
Well, I got
Virginia.
239A. Did I give you an extra one?
I got two, but Earl won't answer me. Do you need one?
No, I'm just trying to, here's this.
I got one.
To Doug, is that the one you need?
No, I got it. I got the copy right here. What I do? Oops. I got it right here.
239.
Yeah, you gotta add this to your non-public, 247A. It's gonna be a resignation. I think Earl, you have it already, Earl?
Yeah.
Okay, there's my copy. Now, in your packet, go to page 248. Okay, and that person's not coming. All right. Okay, 288A for non-public. You can have it, look at it. I apologize for this, but we'll talk about it. And then we have one other one. For non-public, 289, and I put that on there, reading the last page.
And Nate has mine.
Nate has
You
one.
want these ones?
Did you make enough copies for everybody?
Yeah.
Okay, pass it to me. And that, sit down, please. It's the last page. Let me see what these are. I didn't have these, they're numbered them, I apologize. And let me hand these out when we get to them, okay?
Yeah.
All right, just, okay. Virginia, I'll put you down in 5 during administration comments, okay? All right.
But she could actually share it with me in my report.
And I have no problem with that.
You can go with me right at the beginning.
Do we have any other public comments? Oh, that's moving on. Check. Let me better know. Okay, minutes for July 25th, 2018, public.
I will make a motion to accept them with a possible correction.
Just a possible?
I know, right? Well, I just have a question that I need to ask
Okay.
once we get a second, and we can
I'll
discuss
second it for you.
Okay. Paul and Laura were not here. Should they just be absent or excused? I think we pretty much excused them, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so.
Yeah, I changed it already.
Okay.
I just didn't do it here.
Okay, now,
All right.
I do have a correction also. It deals with, under John Shea.
Yep.
Originally, when that football program came to Newt, it was vetted to us as no charge, but that policy's changed. And I didn't see that in a minute. That's all I have. Does anybody else have any other corrections?
That's all I have.
Okay, Melissa?
No
Oh,
questions.
okay, you were here, okay, good.
I was here.
Aye.
Aye.
Abstain. Aye.
Okay, guess it passes. And, okay, that takes care of that one. Okay, the non-public?
I will make a motion to accept the non-public of July 25th with the same changes, excused rather than absent.
I'll second it. Do you have any other corrections?
No other questions.
Melissa?
Aye.
Doug? Aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
Okay. All right. 7-Eleven?
I will make a motion to accept the 7-Eleven minutes with corrections.
I second that.
Okay. I don't have anything.
I-
Anybody else have anything?
Yes, the only thing I have was on page 4. A la carte is misspelled. It's not al, it's la.
I have more changes than that, but so I'll just give them to you. But I had one question on number 8 under the motion for the radios,
What page?
page 11. Kathy's page 11.
Oh, okay.
Page 7 for Tammy.
Okay.
Melissa motion to accept the. Is it supposed to be to approve? Because we have to pay the 10,000.
Well, I'm not accepting the $10,000 bill, so.
So, because that was our portion, that was our 20% of the
Right.
grant money that we had to pay. So I'm just more questioning the wording of the
Oh.
motion.
Approve.
Approve, okay.
So where is that?
I'll show you.
So
It's under
number
note
8,
2.
A, I.
Approve, I got you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And then the other thing was just minor changes. I think that was my only question that I had.
Okay. And I'll have to send that one over.
Good job. Melissa?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Peg?
Aye, I'm sorry.
Aye.
Okay. That's that one. All right. Non-public, July 11th.
I will make a motion to accept the July 11th non-public with a possible correction, I'm not sure. Again, a question.
Do we have a second?
I second.
Laura, okay.
On the back page, it says Donna Marie Courier 40 hours versus 200 hours. And I wasn't sure if it was supposed to be 200 or 20.
That was in reference
No,
to
it
her.
was, sorry, go ahead.
That was in reference to her doing that extra work,
100,
right? With the
Okay, but I
grant money
mean, for
and all that.
200 hours, she'd be working 200 hours.
So it's 40, it was 40 hours from last year,
Right.
200 hours from this year.
Okay, all right, then they're fine. Just had a question.
All right, Melissa?
Aye.
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 I had another question too, though.
Yeah, well, go ahead.
When we talk about the contracts, does the board want it written out what the position is and what the pay is, or it just being listed what the position and the person for the position?
Which one you talking about?
All of them.
Oh, you want the position listed in the minutes then?
Right, but in the past, it's been they're hired at this amount of money, or this amount of stipend.
Yeah.
It's not in any of these, so my question is if the board wants that to be included. Does it matter for Nate for when he has to go back and look at things, I guess, too?
You should
Or you're
have
just
the
looking at the
contracts,
contracts? So that's not an issue?
No.
Okay. All right, so I have
You
no
look at
changes
the
then.
stuff go off of that.
So,
already voted.
December 13th, non-public.
I will make a motion to approve the 12-13 with corrections.
I second that. I also have corrections.
Okay, what I did today, because non-public, I understand, cannot be sent by email, so I marked them up and spoke with Sherry, because she's the one who did them. So I gave my corrections to Jan to give to Sherry today, so you might want to do the same thing.
Okay.
Any more corrections? Melissa?
Aye.
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 Okay. Okay, Earl, you are up.
Okay, I'm going to share my report. We're very grateful to have Mrs. Virginia Long here, who's done an extraordinary amount of work and did a loose compendium.
Earl, can I just stop? I apologize. You gotta go to 239A, because Earl moved it on me. That's the letter that I gave you.
Yes.
Okay, I apologize. Thank you, Earl.
Good.
Now go ahead.
So, going forth, we'd like to thank you very much for all your hard work and your commitment. And in order to facilitate the grant, the board was kind enough and flexible enough to add you onto the agenda because the direction had been to try to keep things going and get things in, which they're going to discuss on 5A. But due to your hard work and the need to have a grant in at a specific time, we are able to have you. So therefore, I'm going to share my time with you.
Well, I thank you very much for letting me come at the last minute to request this letter of support, which I think will be very helpful for getting this loose plate grant. Because educational uses of the property, I think, are very important.
Does anybody have any questions for Mrs. Long?
The question is roughly the school budget for the porta potty.
I brought a sheet. I looked up one estimate of porta potty costs. It's $65 a month with weekly cleanups. It would be $650 for a 10-month school year. Or you could rent it by the occasion at $80 an occasion.
Okay, what were they again?
Right here, I'll show you.
So that's, I got one estimate. Of course, this is probably a year and a half away, so who knows?
Right,
It's-
just an idea, so
Yeah, exactly.
that's fine. I just wanted to have an idea. I didn't want to, at the last minute, be hit with something, you know, ridiculous.
$50,000.
You never know.
Right.
No, I have no
Okay.
objections at all. I think it's a great idea.
Okay,
So
good.
thank you.
Did you have that? I'm sorry. I'm being rude. I apologize.
You're not being rude.
Yes, I don't have my school attitude. You all said, tell me when you said.
Okay.
I need a motion to,
I will make a motion to recommend that we sign our letter of approval for the grant.
I'll second that.
I second that also. I just want to take a picture of it.
Oh,
do I have any more discussion? Melissa?
Aye.
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 So you want to start? I've signed already. You want my blue pen?
Well, I've got purple.
Mine's not erasable.
Mine's purple.
To Melissa.
I see, okay. Pass it over there, like doing that. I'm gonna get a hernia.
I've been here for over an hour and they couldn't do this one.
No, I'll give it back to her.
Oh, yeah, she's like, recommend.
No.
Oh, I can leave this with you if you
Okay, then why don't we,
if it's useful.
well, yeah, put it with the minutes. Okay.
Put it with my stuff.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Now, give this to Earl.
Sign it in blood.
Earl, you want me to bring this in or give it to Nate?
Give it to Nate.
Give it to Nate?
He's the care.
No, but I think you're gonna need that letter, aren't you?
Yeah,
At
she
some
wants
point.
the
So,
letter.
how do I arrange to get it?
Why don't we, come down the SU, we ought to make a copy for ourselves and put it in a file.
Why can't we just sign another,
Well, I don't know how it, see what I
if we,
got.
if we sign another one that we have?
Now, let's see. It'll be in the
So then we have a
same
couple.
order.
Like, the names are all the same anyway, so.
Yeah,
we
so
do
the only
that.
thing is we don't have fancy paper
I'll give
letterhead.
it to,
Oh, no.
That's it.
give it to Mrs. Long.
So I can take this one with me?
Yes, you can.
Yes.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, everybody, for.
Thank
You're very
you.
welcome, and
Thank
good
you
luck,
very
good luck
much.
Saturday with the cleanup. You
Oh,
might
yes.
want to stay for the audience out there that you're looking for volunteers for
Yes, we're
Saturday.
looking for volunteers to help clean up the property that they're supporting, getting a grant on.
pass
This
it
Saturday,
down.
Casey Road,
Nate, when we're done.
9 to
It
noon.
was on Facebook today, I saw
Make sure
that.
you guys sign in for me, please, when you have a second.
Site,
Thank you.
she has
Oh, I need to
sign
sign.
in over there.
Yes,
Thanks, Virginia.
yep, thank you.
Do you have anything more for us, Earl?
Yeah, we have a lot of work that's been done, the high school and the MES administration and the special ed administration, Melissa Jean, they've had a lot of professional development over the course of the last 2 months that the board has enthusiastically endorsed. And the information has come in almost as we speak. And I'd like to commend all of them, and I'd like to thank the staff for having come in. We also offered a lot of opportunity for students during July and August. Melissa Keene did an excellent job with the special education staff. Sherry, the new staff person, came on board, Sherry Hodge, and did a fantastic job in helping her. We have to increase the staff a little bit next year, so Melissa can get a little bit of multi-task time, because she was trying to do many things at once. Also, too, I'd like to thank all of the members of the staff that were on the staff hiring committees, along with the admin staff, and for the second year in a row, I think we have hired an excellent group of staff. I think that the people that we hired last year, 2 years ago, had a tremendous impact this year, and I think some of the programs that we started, some of the cohesiveness, some of the development, as we embarked upon our first year as our own SAU was very key. And I think that I'm cautiously optimistic. I'd like to thank Jan for the staff orientation we had today that began at noon, that went for the whole, we had the staff in, the new staff in, and I thought it was a good introductory. Hopefully we don't have a lot of new staff next year, but we're going to build upon it and do a little bit more, but we hope we don't have new ones, so we don't have to be concerned with that. Our soccer team, which Jan will speak to perhaps a bit, but I can cover it now. As you remember, 3 years ago, we looked like we weren't going to have a team. And a couple of the students, Mr. Richards came and so forth, and they were able to secure enough students for us to have a team. Well, Mr. Shea has been working very hard, and I've been assisting him with phone calls to parents to try to get things started. So we're going to see how things go, but right now we're getting things ready, and with the hope that we will be able to field the team. Some of the parents have been fantastic, but whatever the case is, it's been a group effort, and if we don't have a team, it isn't because everybody didn't try to have one. Now, looking outward, there's a possibility that Farmington and us may look at merging a girls' team and a boys' team. So we would probably send our girls there, and they would send their boys here. or vice versa, depending on it. But we'll keep you abreast of that, and we'll be in discussions with them. We had glossed over it in the past year, but you have to file a year ahead of time with the NHIAA for them to approve when you merge. So we'll keep you abreast of that. Other good news is, as you're signing it right now, and Nate will give you the end of the year, we ended up very, very well. And again, that is an attestament to the entire staff of the administration and the board. I think we have really scrutinized all the expenses that we've had. Where there was there was costs that we addressed, and I think Melissa Jean has really done a tremendous job in looking at the various costs that we have for SPED, and they have continued to work in that. And as we transition into next year, there's still many areas that we're looking at in there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cut, right?
When you were talking about the soccer, were you just talking about high school?
High school.
Oh,
Yeah.
Not middle school, high school.
Yeah. High school. I won't go into more depth.
The problem is, right now, we don't have enough for a team, and
for
today-
middle school?
For high school.
Oh, for high school.
And today's the last day that other districts who are gonna play us could add extra games. So after today, if we end up having to cancel the team, that leaves holes in their schedules. So that's why we're trying to get kids, but they've only had 3 students who can't come every day. So we need 15. So it's,
Have you reached out to middle school kids that played last year?
Yeah.
yep, they're all practicing together.
We
No one
have,
reached out to us.
You've been away for a month.
Or my child either, because he's done too, but that's okay. My son's gonna sign up when you guys have, what is it, Thursday? That something's gonna go out on, not this Thursday, next Thursday or something, because I talked to Mr. Shea about it.
But the other issue is, if we do that, then will there not be another middle school team? Because there wasn't last year. And that's why they got to play up.
Right, if we don't have a middle school team, we'll do what we did with softball, where we'll have it as a club team, where we're practicing and drilling and getting skills. So softball, we started with 3 girls and made it over 14. So it'd be the same sort of thing. Still hold practices, still have them working to get their skills so that we can, next year, have a team.
yeah, it's very much like the softball last spring, if you remember.
And that was done for free by Donna Marie and Jen. They organized that themselves.
I guess it's me. I put A on, and I know it's causing frustration for everybody, but what it is after you get the packet, we get items that we only can review like now. And I don't know of any way to get around it, because sometimes we have an emergency, we have things that come up, and especially during the summer, so it's a little more difficult because we're meeting once a month. So I don't know if anybody has any ideas. I'm willing to listen to them, but there's exceptions to the rules that we have to deal with. And one of these rules we're going to be dealing with in non-public. And matter of fact, a couple that came in after the packets went out. So if anybody's got any ideas, I know there's been frustration in the past. With people having to view this stuff and not getting a chance to digest it. But I don't know of any other way to do it.
No, I think personally it's been, like last minute nominations that a position is open, administration interviews somebody, it's a great person. I know it's frustrating, but I totally understand.
Right.
And with Virginia Long tonight,
It was an urgency.
that was an emergency based on grant application deadline. And Kathy sent everything at least out to people so that we could review it online and, be prepared for when she came tonight, so it wouldn't take a lot of time, so.
I mean, I guess things come up that we just weren't expecting, and there's no way around it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only message is we're gonna have to just do our jobs. That's our job. We got things to do, and we have to get it done and get it out of the way.
I think we're good at being flexible, even though.
Yeah,
it's-
I just want everybody, well, but I must admit, I'm getting, not from other people that have concerns about doing this, and I think they need to be told we're gonna continue to do our job, and,
And if we can't answer it, we'll table it, and then it'll be addressed the next time.
okay, I have no problem with that. I want you to all be aware. Okay, moving on, financial reports. I think Lee,
Did,
the first one, I think you're up.
did Peg only ask 3 questions, like you said?
Excuse me, wait until he gets into it.
This is for 2017 and 2018.
It was actually just for you.
Yes. Good girl.
So is that it?
So I have, and that's my report, thank you.
All right.
Moving right along.
I have the expense report through June 30th for 2018.
Yep.
It's the final unaudited version. I say unaudited because the DOE 25 is due on the September 1st, but we never have audits done until, like our audit's scheduled for October. And every now and then there are some changes, some minor changes. But the expense report you see here is what the DOE 25 is based on.
And I ask that you turn to the last page, 22, and Nate will talk about that.
Of the
The
expense
expense report, yeah.
So, as far as the expense report is concerned, which is only a part of the equation of the DOE 25. As you see, it's like 25 pages long, so it's more than just the expenses. But we ended the year with $289,905 remaining out of our
Budget.
budget. Yes.
And that will go back, some of that, a lot of it will go back to the town.
Correct. So the DOE 25 tells you in detail all the information you need, but most people want to know what we're giving back. I took out the $171,607.28 for the warrant articles.
Yeah.
And that left an unassigned fund balance of $365,483.97, which does include the SAU surplus.
But you gotta remember, that is from, am I not right, from 2016 and 2017,
The SAU surplus, yes.
$160. So that's what was left, and that's what we're giving back.
Yep.
So we're giving back a total, 365.
365, 483.97.
Okay,
But a percentage of that is the SAU funds.
Yeah, the 160,000.
Yeah, and also some of that is also from unanticipated aid, additional aid you received.
Yep.
So it's not indicative of what was left in the school budget.
Right, the expense report is just a portion of that equation.
well, I think, Melissa, I think what made this figure go up is that we lost some students toward the end of the year that helped a great deal. So that's, if we hadn't, this figure of 289 would have been down.
Correct.
So if that had not been, we would not be giving this amount back. So,
And we also wouldn't have had
The
the
warrant
necessary funds as far as the other that we had to pay the warrant articles.
Right.
I mean, we didn't have to, but we would have had the capacity to do so,
Right.
which
So-
is 171,000, isn't it?
now on this 365, is that, what is the ratio? Is that about $1 per thousand for the town of Milton? We'll be down by giving this back? What is the rate?
Oh, tax ratio.
Tax rate.
ratio?
Okay.
Yeah.
Typically, it's the, yeah.
About $1.
Typically, it's $1 per
Per thousand we're gonna
Yeah.
be saving.
Yeah.
So everybody buy a house here.
You're gonna save $1.
So we shouldn't, technically speaking, this year, we shouldn't see a rise in the school taxes. Because we're pretty close to last year's budget.
Yeah. We're actually lower.
Should be
The
low.
budget was lower, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
But keep in mind that that can change depending on what we have for students coming into the district.
That's always a moving target, yeah.
Right, so,
Because that's why we were in the situation we were, because we had a bunch come in. After we had budgeted, it just kind of lucked out that they had moved out, a couple of them.
right,
But
so it's, our budget
Can
isn't
never
all,
tell.
we can never pin it down to an exact
Right.
because,
Even though we did freeze the budget, that was done on a cautionary procedure, and that, from what I understand, we did not hurt education by doing that.
No,
So, just a caution. Because we don't definitely want to be into a deficit.
And one of the nice things, as Melissa pointed out, the other nice thing is we didn't have to go into the sped fund.
Right.
And we had a warrant, and we had that in there to add
50,000.
to it. So at least we know, hopefully we have a little, we have something to go to. Because I think that
More
last
cushion.
year, Bob back there, Carrier, he picked up that on the group when we met with the town committee. I think was Bob Carrier, Sean Perot. I think they quickly picked up, just like Melissa said, that is always a concern that we have no control over, because the transition of people that come in and the student has needs, or our existing students have an IEP and their needs change, they become enhanced. So it's nice to know that we at least have a baseline to go from. But it's never, when you have a budget as tight as ours, it's never enough right now, right?
So, okay, moving on. Our 2018 to 2019. So everything has been encumbered for that year then? The new operating budget?
The new one, no.
Everything?
And I say no because we don't typically, we wait until we get bills before we can encumber.
Yeah, but what if you have contracts that have already been signed?
The contracts that we've signed, we typically, yes, because we know how much it's gonna be.
Okay, so we're all set.
I do not believe Sue has gotten to those ones yet.
Special ed still needs to do.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
My plan is always, if it's too late, let me know, but I try to have everything encumbered by the end of October.
For audit.
Because we get a lot of bills throughout the year.
But I thought we didn't encumber the coaches and stuff for this. We still do that for the summer and stuff?
Actually, I found a way around it.
You have
So
found
that
a
I can't do it for hourly stipends, but I can do it for the yearly stipends.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Anybody else have any questions for me?
Well, my one question after looking at this, one question, or just saying one.
Which one you on now?
I'm in the new one.
Okay.
I asked Nate about the overages already, and he very succinctly wrote back and said, health, some salaries, FICA, because of people coming in and out, and if they changed their health insurance and went up, then
We're done.
it's over. And they're not over by a lot, but, currently they are over, so.
The only thing I can see problem with regular education is 4,810, that's the highest 16. For regular education, is that right? You
I'm
talking
sorry,
about
what?
that?
For health insurance?
No. Because health insurance, you got 18,000 left on the first page, 7 723, and then you're, the only one that's over is the 4,810 for health insurance for elementary.
Right, elementary, teacher health, and dental, and,
But see, the others are actually
Right.
underspent.
Yeah, so far.
Yeah, yeah.
so we hired a very expensive elementary teacher who took very expensive health insurance.
We should have everybody now. I hope.
Sorry, John, I had just.
Well, we have two teachers you're approving tonight that haven't been encumbered because
Right,
they haven't been approved yet.
So that changed the salary lines?
So that will change health and benefits across the board.
But you haven't already taken out for their salary yet either.
I haven't yet, no, because they're not in the system yet.
Yeah, but so they'll go to 35 and 50 and if it's elementary or middle.
Correct.
Okay,
Like if they have a $35,000 elementary teacher, that's going to go down.
okay.
Is that what you're asking?
Yes.
Yeah.
Any more, Pat?
nope, that was
That's it? Any questions on that? Move on. Monthly revenue report for up to August 8/13, anybody? No, I got the
Original one? Yeah, the original one, right, just through this year.
No, I got both of them, I'm sorry.
I do have both
2017 and
years, yeah.
2018. What's the matter?
I do have June and July in there.
Yep.
Okay, all right.
Nope.
And then the 2018 and 2019, same thing? Monthly grant report for 2018 to 2019? Any
Yeah, the
questions?
only question that I had was, there is still an amount remaining under the SIG grant. I thought we had pretty much spent all of that. 67,000, almost 68,000. And I thought it was
Well, keep in
over.
mind also, this report's a few weeks old.
Okay, so when we pretty much spent it because it's over now,
Yeah.
correct? Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay.
Well, yes, I'm sorry. I was looking at the wrong date.
All right. Is that a question we had there?
I think we got two treasurers' reports.
We didn't have it last one.
Actually,
April,
we got three.
3, well, I got them, put them all up.
April, May, and June.
Okay, April 2018, everybody viewed it? I need a motion to accept in a second.
I'll make a motion to accept the April
Oh, second.
Treasurer's report.
Laura?
Yes. Aye.
Yes.
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 Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the May Treasurer's report.
I'll second. Aye.
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 Yes.
I will make a motion to accept the June.
I will second.
We're still on the Treasurer's reports, right?
Yes.
Aye.
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 Hi.
Cash reconciliation. It's good till 6/27/2018. Any questions?
Nope.
So those three of those also.
Yes.
Okay. Cash report for 7/17/2018. Any questions?
No.
I lost my page here. For 8/1/2018, all set? Okay. The food service guy left, huh? Okay, food service, we'll get several.
Two of them, yeah.
2 months, yeah.
Okay, let's look at May 18th. No, May 2018, I'm sorry. So what's our deficit?
I think you have to look at June's.
You still got a figure there.
The deficit's a little bit different than what Cafe Services is going to say because of an audit adjustment. So it's not going to match as tightly as I would like it to.
So who's higher and who's lower?
So the actual amount deficit, trying to find the exact number.
$56,000?
Is. Somewhere. It's 69,000.
Is that higher or lower than last year?
I believe it's a bit higher, yeah.
So
How
it's,
much is a bit? 20,000?
so it's 9,000?
I think it was about 15,000 lower last year. I
So
think it
by,
was around 54,000.
so by raising the prices, is it helping or hurting us? Because our deficit's going up.
I don't know. It's. I mean, we had over $12,000 in negative balances, so that they're eating.
So where does that show up in this?
What?
The negative balances?
It's
Would it be on the?
absorbed. So like, they see the 60,000 deficit.
Yeah.
That includes it.
So you, but
It
you
comes
would,
out of food cost.
but you would never see it because
So
this
you
is
won't
the
see
same.
the sales. No,
Right.
it would just be absorbed out of the food cost.
But didn't our contract come in less than this last year? Did you say that at one time? Was the food contract down, but I thought you said.
For the current year?
Yeah, this year. No,
Yes.
last year, I mean last year.
For last year? Yeah, so what happens is they figure out their budget for the year, their expenses, and they charge us accordingly. They take it by 10 months and divide it by 10 months. And we pay a flat fee every month. That last month, we pay half of that, and then, which is in June, and then they figure out the closing costs, all the amounts that they actually spent, and then charge us accordingly.
I
In
think
this
what Doug-
case-
Yeah, I think what Doug meant is at one point in time, you had told us there was $21,000.
That's
I
what I'm
believe.
trying to say. Yeah. At this point, they gave us back $21,000 because they spent $21,000 less than they had originally budgeted.
So that went back into their revenue.
It went against the expense.
What expense? Thought you
The
said
Bottom line
contract.
expense.
bottom
It
line.
went to the contract. It was basically, it's a refund.
Yeah, but where did the refund go when we got the money back?
It went into the expense line.
You're losing me, I'm sorry. Doesn't it go into revenue? We
It's not revenue, it's an expense. It was a credit to an expense. It's not
So we
revenue.
paid it out and they gave us back money.
Yes.
I'll have to talk to you about that privately.
Okay.
Activity statement report. You read it? Fund balance, our trust funds, as of 8/13/2018. So we've made all our deposits per our warrant articles.
Yes.
We have. So all the pending additions that are zero are,
Oh, I'm sorry, I misunderstood. So, we have, out of the pending payments, we have that 10,614, and a portion of the 99,000, we're waiting to get reimbursed for that.
okay, but I'm looking under pending additions of 00000.
Yeah, this was done before
The
I
warrant
had-
articles.
had the MS 25 done.
Okay.
So next month, you'll see those additions.
Okay, thank you.
That was my question.
Yeah, that's what I thought your question was, but,
These figures on the right-hand column are gonna be higher, that $200,000,
Correct.
whatever we got coming back.
Yep. The ending balances will be higher.
I guess that's, I guess we, Bob, you're up, wiring bids? Wiring bids,
Oh,
we don't have them.
yeah, no, they're right here.
Oh, that's,
This is strictly informational.
so we're not bidding on it.
You're not doing anything tonight. No, we just need to look at them.
FYI.
Yep. We've got more information coming.
Now,
So 2 each.
now what, this wiring project, what's the wiring project for everybody listening and watching?
Yeah, there's two different ones.
Okay.
The wiring project is to help upgrade the internet service at Newt High School.
That's all this is?
Yeah. This is just the wiring portion.
For the internet.
Yes.
Okay.
Did you see this?
That's it?
Yeah.
Does everyone want one?
Yeah,
Sure.
There should be plenty, yeah.
there's plenty.
Does Bob want one?
Anyone else in the audience want one?
Bob, give him the Bob.
So this isn't the copper wiring we talked about before?
It's extra.
Well, they were bidding on two different things, so I'm not sure what those bids represent, anything, because it was the phone. We're looking at the infrastructure for the wiring for the phone system.
Yeah, so originally they were supposed to send us, 3 different companies were supposed to send us different quotes. One for just the internet and the other one for the phone. They didn't do that. They gave us the bundle,
Okay.
which is what you're gonna be looking at. And that's why it's just informational right now, because we're going back to them and saying, we
We want it
need
broken
more
down.
information.
Okay.
Can you say if we approve this bid, where does the money come from? Is it part of, it's not one of the grants, is it?
No.
So I'm seeing one.
And that's another reason we're not having you guys make any decisions tonight.
Okay,
We still need to figure a few things out.
okay, all right, thank you. That's for the internet, you say?
So this internet and phones or just internet?
That's where I was confused. It looked like it might have been combined.
It is combined.
Internet.
We were supposed to get both.
Right, so this is internet and phones.
Yes.
But these prices,
They
they better be
didn't
combined.
They were supposed to separate them, they never did.
Got it.
Yeah, because we've got one sitting here, 27,140, and the other one is 62,498.
See, yeah, the other one,
Little difference.
the lower one is for just Newt. And then the higher one is for Newt and elementary.
Right, all right, so
But-
just looking at that, it's 27,000 versus 41.
Yeah.
Exactly.
42, yeah. So, all right.
So
Take a
there's
look.
more to come.
We'll take a look.
Yeah.
Okay, those are, thank you.
The elementary handbooks.
I just have to assume that anything that is, what was it, dark? For changes, yeah.
And if some of the, when you go to print these things, it turns it into a PDF. You may see some things like the heading on the page before. I've already corrected that. Just made it, because I made another copy without all the highlights that I had that I haven't printed out yet. But,
I guess my only question, John, is that you actually have in here, I think on both of them, about the three terms and the essential outcomes and the changes to the report cards and stuff. Have we approved that yet?
it was, the calendar was approved, so
No.
you haven't, in the past, done that, because we've been talking about this. Usually, if you approve quarters or trimesters, you usually do that with the calendar. So it hasn't been approved in the past before. Like Jan and I had 2 different dates for our quarters, so I didn't realize it had to be voted on. So that was, I thought it was just more informational, so that's why it was in here.
Are you looking at this calendar? I don't see,
There are no, there has never been. When I first got here, I contacted Kathy Vigil and said, the calendar doesn't have quarter dates.
right.
And I said, what do I do, you know, what, do you have them? And she said, each building determines its own. So that's,
Okay.
Go ahead.
My recollection is we had a discussion on this and we specifically did not vote because we had
We asked for
substantial
further.
questions
Right.
on this. So we did not approve for this to go to 3 periods.
Now, the other question I need the chief's help on. Chief Prowse, I'm sorry. On page 119, it has a statement of a student is subject to the search by staff member if reasonable grounds exist. Can that be done?
Yeah.
So it can be done?
Yeah.
I just want to I don't want to get us in trouble.
Any person who walks inside of your building can be searched. Their bags can be searched, their car can be searched, anyone that comes upon the school property.
Even the kids?
Kids, parents,
Okay, just-
anyone.
No.
We don't touch them.
Yeah, okay. And that,
And you should.
No frisky.
the only other thing I did see in this, and I may have missed it, I'm gonna give you the opportunity to correct me. I saw nothing about parking. First come, first served.
There was something about permits.
Parkings.
No, permits
Permits.
I didn't see permits. Jan had
In
permits.
Page 6. A parking sticker system will be issued to employees. Page
Right,
6
staff.
highlighted.
Staff parking.
Both
Okay.
schools are gonna use the same stickers.
We are gonna do that then. Answers my question. The only problem I have is the same question on the tri-grade thing. We haven't voted on it yet.
Well, I can do the presentation first, then we can go back and do the book. No, you want to ask the question, other questions in the handbook, then I can do the presentation, and then we can vote on all of it at once.
I had no other questions on either one of them.
You want him to go to the grading on 153 first? Up to the board, not
Yes.
up to me.
Yes, yes,
I
yes.
brought copies that are different. So we can look at the little boxes.
Thank you.
So this is part of the presentation I did to parents in February at the parent forum. So I'll just kind of quickly go over it. Basically, what is purposes of grading? Basically, it's just why do we do grades? To communicate status to parents, to provide information to students for self-evaluation, to select, identify, or group students for instruction, provide incentives, evaluate the effectiveness of instructional programs, document students' lack of effort or inappropriate responsibility, so forth and so on. So these are kind of purposes of grading. So we went through all of that with parents. We looked at toxic grading practices, which have happened a lot with standards, not standards, traditional grading. You know, like giving a student a 0 for not passing an assignment. That just, just ruins their grade average. Or, just grading them on one big giant project, whether it's an A, B, or C. Then frivolous grades, you get an A for covering the book, or you get 100 on a quiz grade, which is really not necessarily all about, what their grade is or what their knowledge is. Assessing students on averages, and there was a big thing that we did, which was we learned at our assessment conference we went to in January with Tom Viscuski, which was the book that I gave you guys. There he gave grades with different averages and how you could average it out and come up the mean, the median, and the mode, and how teachers came up with different grades based on 1, 2, 3, 4. So it was kind of all over the place. So this can be not necessarily accurate. And then there's no emphasis on getting work done. So resilience. So like if someone doesn't get the work done, then if they don't get it done, then they get a 0. Rather than looking at students and what their best work is and what their skills are and what their strengths are, which is the reason we wanted to go to standards-based grading. So the next 2 pages are basically what the features are. And just kind of to give you an overview, the only grades that are grade levels that are going to change are grades 4 and 5. Everybody else right now is standards-based. And they're standards-based based on, like effort and conduct and writing, just kind of be vague, like writing and spelling and so forth. And they get S's and O's and so forth and so on. So they don't have grades in K through 3. But I'll get back to what we're going to do with actual letter grades. But I'll just go through these features. We're going to assess students on how they meet the specific expectations. Now, we haven't determined, that's part of what we're doing this year, as soon as we get back. And once we develop the report card itself, which whether it's going to be EE or ME, we may do it differently, elementary, different developmentally, they may not do the meet expectations, so they might just do the satisfactory, what we've been doing. So to keep that more traditional, more what we've been, parents are used to. Summative assessments we use to evaluate students on standards. And transitioning from quarters to trimesters. Part of the reason to do that is if you kind of look at the second last page, these are the essential outcomes that this was for math, for grade 3. When we say essential outcomes, what we're looking at is that we want every student to master this essential outcome. And the standards below support this essential outcome. Now, does it mean that the student will master every single one of those standards underneath? No, because that's where the different levels come in. And the example I've given a lot, and I did it at the parent forum and with teachers, is we want, let's say that if there's an essential outcome of volume, we want students to understand the concept of measuring volume. There could be a student that knows everyone, and that was part of the presentation. We did math. We started the presentation with math. There were different ways. We had the formulas, the volume equals, don't ask me what it is, because I'm not the math person, but there are different ways of figuring it out. So, if a student masters all those ways of measuring volume, that's great. But if there's a student that may not be able to master, may not be strong in math, but understands when they sit in a bathtub and that the water went up, that's volume, then they've mastered that understanding of what volume is. So that's why we are looking at everybody should master that essential outcome. And it could be in different degrees of mastery. And that's where, the standards below would come into play. Students in grades 4 and 5 will also receive a letter grade. So what we're going to do to kind of transition, we are going to still provide letter grades, so we can still have the honor roll, high honors and low honors, and so high honors, honor roll, so forth and so on. And it's going to be a combination. It's basically we have two different types of grading systems on one report card. We have traditional, and we're going to have standard. It's based. So each student will be, assessed on individual standards, which are listed here. But then when we do the traditional grading, that's where we add up everything and, they do the average, and where we can give them credit for covering their books and so forth. Because it can include those types, it's the overall work effort rather than individualized assessment of each standard.
Can I ask a couple of questions?
Sure.
So you're only doing it for grade 4 and 5, is that correct?
No, we're changing all the report, because we have like 3 or 4 different report cards as it is now. We don't have a consistent report card. When I first got there, there were NCR, the triplicate forms that they had to redo, and some run them off, so they're all over the place. Kay developed a standards-based report card a few years ago, so we're going to unify them by putting them all through PowerSchool, and they'll all be printed up through PowerSchool. So, so the letter grades will be based on all trimester assessments, formative and summative, so that's the combination. So a student, when they receive in a standardized report card, if they get, looking at this one, if I can read it, problem solving, reasoning, and proof, they may not yet assessed, or they may get assessed or whatever. They may or may not master that particular one, but they may still get an A or a B because their overall work effort and their tests and quizzes add up to the same. But what you're going to find too, what I used to get when I had this report card in my other school, we had, well, my kid got 3 MEs and 2 AEs, and my neighbor got 4 AEs and 2 MEs, but we both got a B. How'd that happen? We don't average up the MEs and the AEs. It's really based on because it's 2 different types of grading. You have traditional and standards.
So is there a cost to implement this system?
No, but there is a training cost, a professional development, which is we're taking out of the Focus and Priority School. I put that into the Focus and Priority School grant. We haven't gotten that approved yet, but that's where it is. It's from Power School. So that, was also, we got training. We did have some other training that was done through the Focus on Priority School we went to in January. We purchased books through Focus on Priority School. That's all been done through the Focus on Priority School grant. So students will receive individual reports for each trimester. Trimesters will be 60 days long, and progress reports will be given in grades 4 and 5 for at-risk students. So not every student would get a progress report. We would look at it this year anyway, where it's students in danger of failing right now would receive a progress report. And then why trimesters? Time and accurate assessment. This is a lot of, we have a big learning curve for teachers, big learning curve for students and parents, and we're going to, it's going to take a lot to actually, we got to develop the report card through Power School. The development of what the report card looks like, that's the least important part of this process, because that's going to be whatever Power School will print up for us, is what it is. It's the assessing of students and how we assess students and how we report that assessment out to parents. So there's that. Now, like I said, these are the essential outcomes. This is one example. We did them in language arts and math. We worked on them all last year for each grade level. And then the last is kind of an example that I gave to parents at the forum. So here's the goal. Will students will be able to prepare and cook delicious and edible food or / meals. And I put me and Courtney Stevens. Now Courtney Stevens is a fabulous baker. She makes these wonderful cakes, cookies, she brings them in. She's a great cook that way. I am a good cook. I love to cook Italian food. I hate to bake. So we have two different sets of skills. So if you look at it, showing proficiency in dry, moist, combination heating, cooking methods. Because she has to exceed that because that's baking. It's like a science. Where me, I'm approaching because I don't like to follow a recipe. Implement professional standards of food preparation and food safety. We hope we both do that. And then have a knowledge of spice combination, impact on food flavoring. I put ME for Courtney because she follows a recipe where I could, let's make a deal. Tell me what you got in your purse, I'll make a pasta sauce. That's how we do it. So I can figure that all out. And then set up, break down, and prepare food items in a standard kitchen. I always put the low expectations for me because you don't want to see my kitchen after I'm done cooking. But the bottom line is we both can cook and we both can get an A on cooking because we both know how to cook. What this does is tells us what our particular strengths are and our weaknesses are. So that's where the difference is with standards-based grading. We did have a parent forum. It wasn't hugely attended, but it was well received by parents, trimesters, and we went over all of that. The parents that were there and the teachers that were there. It was very, So that's where we're at. We've been working on it all year since last summer at the summit we went to. So we're looking now to implement. So, yes, any questions? Yes.
Are you really? I mean, I've gone through this. I've gone through this.
Yeah.
Are you really ready to implement this starting next Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever the kids come in?
For the teachers,
they have their essential outcomes, just math and ELA, or
nope.
Social studies,
they
science?
Worked on. They're not as formalized as the math and ELA, but the Unified Arts had made essential outcomes for that. Social studies and science, no, we don't have those. We may. We're going to probably do the next gen. Doesn't mean we have to have all essential outcomes.
Okay, so there'll be regular. I mean, this term you were studying ecology and. Okay.
Yes, definitely.
All right. Okay. But you don't have the report cards ready to go yet.
No, the report card is basically going to be a printout. What we have to do is the teachers will put in. We need to learn how. The teachers will basically put it into gradebook, which we have in Power School.
Right.
And we got to learn how to Power School and how to just do the setup. And once we do the setup, all the teachers have to do is enter it in and we print them up in the office.
Okay, but you guys have not started inputting all of this yet? So you're not sure that Power School can...
No, I know, we know the Power School can do that. That's why I reached out to Power School. We got information on training and how to do it.
Okay.
Cost
So-
for training?
Huh?
Is there a cost for training?
Yes, $1,500, and that's what I put into the Focus on Priority School grant, which with other costs that we've had.
And last meeting, actually 2 meetings ago, you weren't here at that time, but Jan had talked about coming up with moving away from Power School just because of the issues we're having with it and going to a different computer system. So,
This one was created with Web to School.
okay.
They all do it now.
Yeah, and Rochester has an
So it won't
independent
be an
campus,
issue.
which is what we had
Yep.
talked about,
Yeah.
so.
So it does matter. See, the actual report card itself, what it physically looks like, is the least important part of the process. I mean, it has to be legible. Parents have to understand it, but that is really controlled by our database.
So you haven't loaded any of this system into the computers?
It's, I mean, we have it in digital form. We just have to, once we get, I mean, the kids' names are in there. We have uploaded all of the teachers, the grade book, that's all in there. All we have to do is set up the report card.
But reading up on switching to a trimester system, and there's a lot of positives about the trimester system. However, one of the big negatives is teachers now have to adjust their curriculum and getting used to all of it, and that time consuming. The overall benefits, from what I've been reading, are wonderful. My concern is we are a week from starting, and having these teachers overhaul their course curriculum and getting the software up and going. That's
Well, the software is the only thing. As far as doing the curriculum, we've been doing that all year. That's what we've been working on since last summer at the summit. This was a goal. We worked with this with the DLTR leadership team. We use our professional development days to come up with assessments, formative and summative assessments for the essential outcomes. So they have been working diligently on the curriculum, on their essential outcomes and how they're going to assess students. The next part is just the technical piece.
But aren't we putting the cart before the horse?
But it depends what's the cart, what's the horse.
Shouldn't we approve the system first and then gone the other way? You said you did it over a year ago.
Approved what system?
You said you've been giving training to these teachers and stuff already. Okay. Now, that's just my question.
I guess what
Didn't we put the cart before the horse?
I don't know.
And I think I might be able to
Okay.
answer, I'm not sure, Doug. But just based on my experience, the worst, well, I don't want to call it the worst, but the hardest part is coming up with the essential outcomes, doing the, and I have to explain to these people the difference, formatives and summatives. Formatives are what we used to call quizzes, and summatives are what we used to call tests. That's just the new lingo that I had to learn too. But no, I mean, I guess I want to make sure that the report cards will actually say what the standards are and everything.
Mhm.
But as far as putting together the actual curriculum and the standards, that is not an easy task. And so for the fact that they've been working on it for a year,
That to me, it tells me it's the cart before the horse.
okay, why? I mean, what?
We should have approved the system and then done the other stuff. We spent all that time and all that money. Are we not?
All right, well, even if they don't go on a trimester, we don't approve a trimester, we don't approve the new report card, it's still, in my personal opinion, a good thing to have, say, the 2 fourth grade teachers have exactly the same essential outcomes, so that Mrs. A and Mr. B are teaching exactly the same things, and their assessments are exactly the same. so that, you know, you and Mrs. A's class is not getting a better education than I am in Mr. B's class, because they're both all over the place. So this kind of really just focuses. Does that make any sense to you, Doug?
No, because what you're saying is, you're talking about somebody being in the bathtub and the volume goes down.
Goes up.
Well, if you're letting the water out, all right, and he is able to interpret that, he's gonna get a good grade. He's not gonna get, he may not know the rest of the stuff. So,
You may understand, it's the concept. So as far as I guess, we've been working on the cart. If it's the cart before the cart, we really have been. And we've been working on it as an administrative team, and I have brought it to the board. It started last year. This is my family letter that went home to through the PTA, and it said in there that we will be reviewing our report card procedures and format, look for information on these goals. So I started planting the seed right there. This was our Focus of Priority School grant and plan that we worked on at the summit. We started it the year before, and we did again this past year, which we talked about going to trimesters, doing standards-based report cards, empower school grading and parent portal, which is part of the providing ongoing mechanisms for families and communications and so forth. So it's all throughout our plan. This is the presentation I did to the staff at the beginning of the year. These are minutes from different administrative meetings we had.
but I'm not gonna see that stuff.
Well, this is my board, this is my town report that went out in January that talked about it as well. January 24th, I did a
You may have done
presentation
that,
then.
but I may look at your report, but you need to come to the board and still get approval in order to proceed for a grading system change.
Okay, well, see,
So I think
Yeah,
I think
I
the
did come
holdup
to-
is changing to trimesters. I think that's the issue. And that's what the question is. Like, you can, the standardized, if the kids know, you know, what they know being graded on the same thing, I don't think that's the issue. I think it's the issue of trimesters. I think that's where did that come from?
No, I think
where
just
did that come from? That came from the report that we had done, which was part of the summit, the pre-planning tool, which was last year, and we decided that as a team. We talked about it at the leadership team. Remember, I talked with Jan a lot about how it was going to affect the high school. We did have that conversation. It has been mentioned. It hasn't come to a vote because of the information I had, was that that's not necessarily something you vote on. That was what was told to me the first day. I'm sorry that I didn't. I didn't realize that I needed to get it actually voted on, because we had been discussing it, but, you know, because I was told by Kathy that each building determines what the dates are for reporting. So, in January, we started that. It requires more than just a report card. It means remaining all the way to communicate. And I also gave you this book, which is about standard. Did you get it? Remember that in January I brought this book? For your information. And the trimesters, we need the time to assess, is what it is. These are all the purple pages that were in the purple pages, about 5 different purple pages. This was the parent forum information. It was on the TV. It went out, my newsletter, and then July. So it has been something we've been talking as not only just at MES, but as an administrative team for the year.
Well, you may have been, but the thing is,
We weren't.
not to us. Okay, then,
Well,
maybe vaguely, but I didn't give a chance to say exactly what was going on.
I did a presentation in January. There was a presentation in January with the book, and I brought the book.
But the real first discussion of going to trimesters was our last meeting, and that's, I think, what I'm having a problem with is that, like I said, my research is that the trimesters are wonderful, and I have no problem with that. It's just all of this changes have happened, and we, the board, had no say in that. And just recently, did we learn to talk about the trimesters, and now we're being told all year long the teachers were being taught to do this. So,
I'm sorry. don't think that John was saying that all year long they've been working on trimester information, just the standards-based essential outcomes. Because you can have standard-based essential outcomes on a quartermaster? What do you call that? Quartermaster?
Quarters.
On quarters. Quartermaster. So they're like two totally different thoughts. I mean, this is a trimester. You can do regular teaching on a trimester basis, or you can do standards-based. You can do standards-based on a quarterly.
And notices were sent home regarding switching over.
To a trimester. Right. No, I agree. I agree that we didn't vote on
It was
that.
part of parent forum, yeah.
Okay, we the board are the ones that answer. We're the ones that have to know what's going on, and we're supposed to vote, and we didn't, and it wasn't an issue. Again, my argument is not against the trimester, because like I said, the research that supports it strongly. It's how everything is happening is my issue. That's what I said, the previous problem.
I agree.
And haven't been using Power School to enter grades at this point, correct?
Nope.
So it's a big learning curve for the staff. Yes?
They use Power School, they just don't use the grade book piece. That's why the training.
But even according to the research based from Power School, it took the teachers, that was a big time to encompass everything. It was teaching the the teachers, even their own stuff is talking about that. So now, again, we're starting school in a week.
And when's the training supposed to be? Is it scheduled?
It's not scheduled yet, but I've got the contract. I just have to get the grant approval. So I'm waiting for that.
So
I was going to say, what's on the table right now? Do we start by voting on a trimester?
But do you vote on now changing? Do you vote for, I guess it has to be part of the calendar. I guess that's my confusion. I mean, I would have brought that, I just didn't realize.
Okay.
Want a copy, John?
What is that one?
It's a school board policy.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Would you all set? Would Jan like a copy? As a principal.
Sure.
My concern is the staff's not prepared and ready to get there. That's my concern. And I don't want to set the staff up.
They're not prepared for what
This,
part?
the changeover. To start grading and all that, and
The technical
and to
piece.
get comfortable, and that
So
would be my concern.
see, I guess that's where my confusion is. The actual grading system, standards-based grading, the staff has been,
That ain't the part though. It's changing to the trimester part and entering it into the Power School, and there not being any hiccups with the first grading and report cards going out on time. And my other issue too is communication to parents, because you said progress reports would only go out to kids that are
that's what's
having
happening now,
issues.
yeah.
But there really needs to be communication whether the kids are doing poorly or good. Like, I think all kids need to know what they need to work on.
so that's additional. So that, I mean, those are things we can work on, but we would need a trimester because that would be something that we haven't done in the past. K to 3 have never sent out progress reports. And 4 and 5 only sent them to people in need that were in danger of failing. So, and I am aware of this, that I have seen this policy, and that's why I have been bringing the grading system, like in January I did the presentation and brought the book, and it is published in the handbook, and all grading decisions will be made at the building level, and
To get down to the nuts and bolts, I'd like to see a report card and see how it really works. But you're giving up. I'm not ready for it myself. Sorry.
We did ask for that at one of our meetings, but we never
2 meetings
got it.
ago.
Yeah.
A sample report card.
Yeah. Which
he gave us, but from another school.
yeah, it was from another school, and then that's
Right.
kind of basically what the format is. We just don't have the Power School piece down yet. I mean, I was at another school, we used the report card right from Power School, and it was just letter grades. It was not a standards-based report card system, and it was a very small report card. It's just a little printout. It was middle school, so this will be a little bit more complex, but once the training is, and once that happens, as far as the training goes, it's going to be the administration's responsibility to set up the database and set up Power School. Teachers just need to know how to enter.
I understand that's your responsibility, and that I understand by reading that policy. We have no business putting our nose in that end of it, okay? But we do have approval to approve the system. That's our job. Everything basically, well, goes to Earl, and it ends with the school board. Me, individual, I have no authority. The group has the authority. So, does anybody have a motion and a second?
Can you tell me that you're comfortable 110% with going to trimesters?
Yes.
And you have all faith in your staff that they'll be able to accomplish that with no hiccups?
Definitely. This has been, the leadership team has worked on it. It has been something we've talked about with parents. It's been something that we have had out there and had training in. We went to the Gusky workshop. This summer I brought about 8 staff. We went to the PACE training, which is basically like performance assessment. Every staff member received the book, the standards-based grading book. There's been a lot. So they're ready for that. It's just the technical piece of getting that in there, and I think that's going to be the simple part.
Okay.
But the trimesters will give us the time to do it effectively.
And this is where, in this article from 2007, we used Power School to schedule all our classes, and it took a tremendous amount of time to ensure the new schedule accommodate all students' requests. Another challenge was getting staff to buy. Teachers had to overhaul their course curriculum to fit the system. We devoted many professional development hours and in-service days to support this transition.
Does it
We've
say
already
what?
done that.
Does
That's
it
been
say
done.
what school level that is, though? So I
This
would
is for
see-
elementary. This is all
Okay.
based for elementary.
That's what
And-
Donna Houle did last week. She assigned all the classes. Basically, the teachers have to be assigned, the kids have to be assigned to their teachers, to their homeroom teachers, and then they had to be assigned. She worked it that, I think that some students some classes are going to be switching. Like, one teacher's going to be teaching math in like 4th grade, and another one will teach language arts. So they're going to switch. So she went in, for the most part, for what she knew at this point, already put them in to have like a language arts grade. We just haven't put the standards in yet. So that's been done. The UAs have been assigned to each student. So that piece is done.
So you put stuff into the computer then?
Oh yeah, stuff is in the computer. The kids have been assigned to the classes. It's just gradebook. That's the only piece is gradebook.
Do I have a motion and a second?
I motion that we allow MES to switch over to trimesters starting this school year, 2018-2019.
I will second that.
Do we have any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Aye.
I'm opposed.
Well, what was it?
We need Paul to vote.
So it's a draw.
Well, this is going to be disappointing to the staff because it's going to be hard for us to actually. I'm not going to force them to get it all done in a quarter. It's going to be tough. So we'd have to just continue, stay with what we have, and that's
Disappointing to the staff, but it's disappointing to us that we weren't even part of this.
Well, I'm sorry, I disagree with that. I disagree because I have been talking about this since July 2017. I have brought it to the board, I brought it to parents, I brought it to the town, I brought it to many. It's part of a grant that we told the state that we're doing. We have the state in Title I funds pay for our training. It's all been there. It's been all out there. The only one piece maybe that we didn't push a lot because that was the least important piece was trimesters. But it was in our original grant.
But you needed the approval originally of the board before you proceeded with anything.
I'm sorry, say that again?
You needed the approval of the board to proceed with anything.
Well,
Isn't that what that policy says I gave you?
All right, can I make a suggestion? Can we just take a 5-minute break and come back to this?
The vote's over unless you want to reconsider.
No, I'm just worried about, that's fine. Go ahead.
Laura,
Can we table this till next meeting when all
No, you
5 board
can't. You
members
gotta
are
vote.
here?
the vote's over.
Well, can we rediscuss it, is what I'm asking.
You could only, you know you want it the next meeting, I'm just part of the board. But the only way you can reconsider it now and change a vote, somebody that voted no has to want to vote yes.
Okay, thank you.
So he can't come back at the next meeting and
You have to look at
represent or
Robert's
ask?
rules. To look at Robert's rules, we voted. I don't know, I have to look at Robert's rules and check with an attorney. Thank you.
Thank you.
John.
So the handbooks are just, I'll just take the grading system out. I mean, because I have to get the handbooks out. Staff comes back on Monday, they need to know what we're doing. So at this point, we can't do it this year.
Well, I'm willing to make a motion to pass the handbooks up and make the changes in the grading system.
So I just go back to the quarters, put in the quarters.
I'll make that motion.
So I have to take out the standards-based grading information too then?
Well,
Can they continue to work on it and make a draft report card for you, so you see what that looks like and what the letters they plan on using, whether it's S-U-E or whether it's M-E-E, and make a proposal later?
I don't mean it bothers me, even though you say you were going to go to do it. I wished I'd had more information in order to digest what was going to happen, what was going on, and look at the system. Now you mentioned I asked for a report, and I do remember that, but I don't. But,
I think that, what Jan was saying is, the board has had a nice conversation about this law. Laura has her hand up. But to come back with the necessary info, but to continue to work upon the concepts. And the only part of it, according to the board procedure, the board policy, is to have the approval as far as the grading is concerned. So, what were you going to say?
So the grading policy was
something along those lines, Laura?
Well, I was just going to say if we could start having the school start using Power School for grading. Do we need to vote to say that they can use? I know you said it's going to be harder to do the concept part because it's going to be a shorter amount of time if they get things. But
I don't know if I'll be able to get the funding because that was part of this.
That is trimesters.
Nope, that we were doing standard-based grading. And
So can you still do it without being a trimester?
I have to talk to my leadership team. I mean, that was part of the leadership team. This was, the grading system was brought to the board in January.
I remember that conversation, but I don't remember hearing trimesters. So
I think it was, what do you call them? Standard-based. I remember hearing that.
Mhm.
But I don't remember anything about trimesters.
So if we just stayed quarters and muddled our way through it, is that what you're saying? We could do the standards-based grading, but it may not be ready for the first quarter, but maybe the second quarter.
Well, I really had to be honest with you. I mean, you'd have to come in and give me more information on the standard base. Because you say you're doing all the A, Bs, and Cs.
Well, see, we're okay. I guess it's really, the standards-based information was brought to the board in January. That's what we've been working on. We've been working on it since last August. It was part of our admin meetings. It was part of our grant that we did. So if we are allowed to continue to work on that, we won't be able to to take some of the pressure off the staff. We won't do that for the first quarter. We could try it for the second quarter. Gives us even more time. And try quarters this year, and then see how it goes, and we might have to evaluate it and see if the next year. But it's not something I can rush. I can't get a sample report card to you within the next meeting.
So I think that that's a combination of everything. In order to continue the integrity of the grant and the work that was done and the initiative that was done, but at the same time answering the question where the board has the ample time to approve it according to what he had, what the board has here.
If that's the case, Earl, you're suggesting that, I want a lot more information. How
Yes,
that
so that's what,
that
that's
system
what,
works
yeah,
and what you're doing with it.
yeah. So that's what Melissa and them are saying, that you will provide that, John.
Right.
I mean in great depth. I want you to show me a report card where I passed and failed. That's what I need to say. And you said you're still giving a letter grade too, besides that?
There's an example of that.
Well, that's,
Well, it's,
wouldn't that be confusing to the parents?
Parents, we're okay with that one.
I guess, I mean, only because the last 2 years, because of long-term subbing, I've actually had to do the report cards, and based on these summatives tests and formatives quizzes, and each one of the topics in science are actually listed. What are the kids supposed to know this term? This is the overarching essential outcome, or what we're trying to teach. And then underneath, what do they know? What aspect of this thing, blah, blah, blah. The summatives actually give the kids a grade of A, B, C, or not very good. And then each one of the other things they get and exceeds expectations, because under that one header, they are doing very well. They really understand that concept. The next one down, yeah, they get it. And then maybe the next one down, they're not there yet. And then the fourth one down, we haven't taught it yet, so it's not yet assessed. So I mean, there's an awful lot of information there, and I hate to see them working on all of this and not follow through, because it really is a good overall system.
Wow.
so when you have a kid that's on a learning plan, that's the kind of stuff. When they want the kid, it needs to be reading this many words by this much time. When you go in for your meeting, that's what you see. You see where the kids come from. So honestly, this is only just going to benefit the kids and teach them that these are the areas that they need to work on. This is the area they're good in, but really, if you want to get even better, then you need to know this concept also.
But you're also going to be able to do that with the trimester, I mean, the four system. And by writing in this, if your child needs to know this because it doesn't know this.
Right, but it's not giving the teacher enough time, is what I'm hearing from John, to teach all those concepts to get them to where they need to be in a certain amount of time.
Well, okay, so we voted on it?
So I guess my question, you voted on the trimesters? So I guess what I'm asking is for direction from the board. May we continue to work and go toward a standards-based report card using the quarters? The first quarter will just be, and I'll put this all on purple pages and make sure the parents all know about it, that it's going to be just the regular report card like they got last year. And then before the second quarter ends, I will be back to the board with the actual report card, what it looked like, and it'll go out second quarter.
And what, in the meantime, have the board send to Kathy Vigu, like Doug Shute had some questions, a lot of you had some questions. Give her those questions and have you then respond to them so they can prepare for the next discussion and have a lot of those questions answered, much like Peg Heard goes to Nate. It's kind of like a consent agenda whereby informational time is spent so that they fully understand, and the proper modus operandi is, we go accordingly.
Tammy, what was the motion originally? How was it worded by Laura and Peg?
Motion to allow MES to switch over to trimester.
So trimesters what been killed. Do we need to, is it,
So I guess the
Right now.
policy, which I did with the policy, it says that you guys vote on the grading system. The grading system is different than the calendar. So if the calendar is going to stay quarters, can the board vote that we will continue to work on standards-based report card? And do the first quarter, we'll do just a regular report
No,
card,
is it
and then the
stand-
second quarter?
is a standard base a grading system?
Yes, it is.
Then they still be, and we have not voted on that before?
Have-
Have we ever voted on that standard-based system
No.
before? So then it goes back to that policy.
But it was brought to the, that was
You
brought
may
to
have
the
brought it
board.
to the board, but the question is, did the board vote on it to go
So
proceed?
then I'm
with it?
asking if the board can vote on it now. I mean, the information's been there since January.
But we didn't see it report card.
But I don't think, I'm sorry, I don't think you need to see a report card. If, John, if the teachers have ELA, 5th grade, you know, blah, 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 this is the overarching concept, these are the things that I want my 4th graders to learn. Do you have that you could bring to the board or send to the board so that we could look to see what would go on the report card? Do the teachers have that
comes
already?
out of Power School. Now, Power School, the report card you see in front of you that I gave you as a sample
Right.
from another school, I worked with Web to School. We designed that report card with Web to School. That's what we wanted to look like, and that's how it came out. So I can bring monthly, I can bring working samples of what it will look like. But if we're not actually going to be, I mean, the report card itself we can work on. It's just whatever we can put into Power School. It's the technical piece is what we're looking at now.
And you need training for that.
Mhm.
Right, but I mean, I think there's also a question on the board that we need to approve the standards-based grading. Not the report card, not the trimester, not anything. The
So is it-
standards-based. So my question to you again is, do the teachers have, the people who have been working on their standards-based essential outcomes,
Mhm.
do they have an actual list?
For English and math. yes.
Okay, so if we could get the actual list, English and math, this is writing. So by the end of the year, in writing, students in 4th grade need to X, Y, and Z. I think that,
Now
I mean,
that's
to me-
curriculum. That would be their curriculum.
well, it's their curriculum, but it's also what they're grading their students on and the components of each one of those writing, reading, spelling, whatever they all are in 4th grade.
Okay, do we need a motion to go on with standard base? I think we do.
Yeah, that's what.
Do we have a second in a motion?
I think it might be better to wait for
Yeah.
3rd and 4th quarter, just because you've got to get everything in the computer, you've got to train the teachers on how to use the grade book.
That's what I said.
So I think first 2 quarters do the other way and then pilot.
But not standard based, though.
Using
But
standards
well,
based.
No, it wouldn't be standards based the first quarter.
Or the second quarter.
Well, it depends on where we're at. I mean, I guess we can.
Because you said you don't have science and social studies
Yeah.
yet either.
So I mean, we could do 3rd and 4th. I'm fine with doing that. I just want to know
I
if
need
I
more,
want
John, I need
teachers
more
to-
information. Maybe the best thing coming along, okay?
I know,
But I need information on both the standard base and the trimester, the grading system. I need to see that.
Trimesters is off the table. We're just doing the quarters. What I want to be
No, you're
able to
not.
say,
If you want to change on my vote, I need to see it.
I don't need you to change your vote.
You don't want me-
Actually,
So you don't want me to change my vote now?
no,
Okay.
because with the input that I got from the board, I'm in agreement, and I'm okay with putting off saying, okay, we're standards-based, here's your report card after the first trimester or after the first quarter. What I'm asking is if the board is okay with us to continue to pursue standards-based grading with the staff, that they continue to do that because they worked a year on it, and it's going to be like, if they're going to wait for another vote, it's going to be hard to convince them. So if we can continue to work toward that, and then for the second or third trimester, second or third quarter, bring in what the report card is, so you can then approve the report card.
So that essentially is what Doug and Laura and Peg and Melissa is what it's saying. So they maybe come in with the presentation with some staff and have them present so that everyone sees what the model is. And you'll have some time to sow the study and the science as well. And that way it'll actually buy us some time from the technical aspect.
Okay.
You all know. I'm sorry.
So the handbooks, so I have to take that out of the handbook, the standards-based grading, or
I'm asking for a motion from the board to go continue with standard base.
Okay.
The board, it's up to the board, not up to me. Do we have a motion and a second?
I'll make a motion that we allow them to continue working on the standards-based grading.
I'll second that motion.
Do we have any more?
But does that go with implementing at the third
No,
quarter?
that would
No,
be a
it's
vote.
just continue
No,
Another
it's
working.
just continue working on it.
They have a grant
Yeah,
Okay.
with a grant.
that they've spent money out of, so
So by the second or third trimester, once we feel we're competent to do a
Quarter.
full presentation,
Quarter.
sorry, I have to change my thought.
Sorry.
Once I know that we're competent enough to come and say, this is exactly what it's gonna look like, then I'll come back to the board.
Now, can I ask you, what you just gave me, it's on the floor, is that standard base report card?
Yes.
See, I even have a problem with that, because that's confusing to me. If I looked at that report card, that's what I wanted to see. So I have
We have a second.
all those in favor?
I
Aye.
Opposed? No.
No, I say aye.
So in the handbooks, thank you. In the handbooks, what I'll do is I'll put it back to quarters and add something in the standard-based grading that I already have in there that said that we will be implementing later in the year. We're starting off with this, with the
No, don't write
traditional
that.
report cards, and
so
we
probably
so basically it's still work in progress, and it will be coming possibly mid-year.
I'm not telling you to do that.
Huh?
I'm not going to tell you to do that.
Okay. Well, you have to approve the handbook.
Well, I made a motion to approve the handbook, all except the changes that were needed to be done.
And what the changes are.
Take out the trimester.
Okay. All right.
I'll do it for both of those books.
So is there a motion?
Do I have a second?
I second.
You had that clear? Okay. To remove the trimester out of the handbooks and stick to the standard basis to be by the vote of the board.
Wait a minute though, they're not doing standard base right now.
Well,
No, we are.
They're
Yes, we
No,
are.
Well,
We're
they're
working on
continuing
it
to
still.
work on
Right.
it, yeah.
okay,
So what I would do is I would
Standard
put
base
in the purple pages,
right.
lots of
Where you're
information
at.
about how it's coming
Right.
along and where
Okay.
we're at with it.
I'm not saying,
Because I have a lot of parents who are expecting, I mean, we did have a parent forum, we did talk about it a lot, open house. I talked about it at the first day when the parents came in, so they know it's coming.
well,
I'm just thinking, I'm not opposed to a trimester, as like I said, more information and having everything all set and ready to go when we implement it. And if, in the next few months, I would love to see that everything's up and ready to go and then we can transition. I just want it, I don't want to be doing it a week before school.
So, I mean, it is a big undertaking, we are prepared for it, you've given us more time. That's where I'm gonna look at it.
You know,
I'm gonna look at it that way, as long as we continue to work on standards based, because the staff has really done a lot of work toward that. It's just the technical piece, and once we get the technical piece, I will bring it, and I'll bring different drafts or whatever we can, whatever work. It just gives us more time. So we'll implement it.
moving on.
Thank you, John.
That's it,
Laura?
all right? Thank you.
Laura, on the handbooks.
On the handbooks?
Yeah.
Aye.
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 Handbooks are approved, John.
All right.
You're welcome.
Thank you, John.
All right. High school handbooks.
I gave you a bunch of changes on the typo spelling things that was fixed already.
Well, did Peg call you on mine? I called her and asked if she lost her job.
Yeah, I know.
Melissa, you were, I think, the vice chair.
Uh-huh.
What?
Yeah.
In one of them, you were the vice chair.
I
was
am?
demoted.
Wow.
I took that right off the website and put in there. So I went back to see, do we need to update the website somewhere?
Okay.
On
That's
page
been fixed.
213.
Type that before I
The
can-
website wrong.
Okay.
That's what I have to go back.
Oh, yeah.
Bye.
Thank you, John. Have a good day.
Okay, I will make a motion to approve both the staff and the student family handbooks
With corrections.
with the corrections that I've already given.
Right. and
Have a
then any
second?
other corrections that we-
I'll second it, Douglas.
Aye.
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 Okay. I think I had the same corrections that she did.
All the typos, really, Doug?
Yeah.
Oh, this page right here, 213.
Well, I don't know about that.
When?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Okay,
Melissa.
239 is gone. Earl took it out of order. No. I didn't,
Really?
That's spinning here.
240 and 243. I think I'm missing that.
What?
240 and 243 is on that
That's
tobacco.
the policy.
It's the
At the
policy.
bottom of the pile, is-
What?
Yeah.
It's
This
the policy that
The
needs
changes we
to,
made.
that was coming back.
So it's all set to be,
Well, the corrections aren't in it yet. That was my,
when it needs
My
to go.
question.
Well, these are the corrections that needed to be done?
Yes.
Then it should go back.
Well, I don't know why she didn't do them, because she
I
had
know.
them.
You sent it to
And I had a
Kathy?
couple more changes anyways. I don't know what happened, but I sent it to Kathy initially, yes.
So it needs to go back to be rewritten then.
Yep, and then come back to us.
So let's
So tabled for Kathy to do her part.
table,
I will
send it back to get it the written.
I will send it to
changes
Kathy.
Tabled.
And I made the other changes that were supposed to be made from last meeting. I'd reviewed our notes.
Okay.
So I'll send it to Kathy.
Do we have any old business?
I think all my questions were answered.
Okay. Number 8, committee board member reports.
I have one that we kind of talked about today informally, that the budget committee last night
There you go.
wanted to make changes to the schedule because a person on the board could not make Thursdays. So we were scheduled for, I don't know if anybody still has their
It's in my
calendar,
packet,
but,
Gymnastics.
the 25th of October, we were scheduled for Thursday. That would be, oh, that's just sending this budget to the,
That's for me
Committee.
to send them the packets. That's what that is.
right. And then the 1st, the 8th, and then the 13th and the 15th were scheduled for the 15th, but they wanted to know if we could move to another night.
I hate to say this, but it gets really confusing once we agree on something.
I know.
And we start changing it, then there's confusion if we can make it. They came to us initially, and they sent us that schedule, didn't they?
Yes.
And they voted on it originally?
Yes. Bob was the mastermind.
I don't know if we actually voted on it, we looked at it.
Can I have a picture
We're
of
in
your
an
email?
agreement,
I don't know your email.
Oh,
That's the changes, right?
but
yeah, but it's not.
Not
on the
confirmed,
8th,
but I
yeah.
want to know, just take a picture. So I have it.
I don't,
Sean asked me about this last night. He showed me a new version of it, and I don't have a calendar with me, but the 1st of November would stay the same on a Thursday, the other one would go on a Wednesday, which is the 7th, and the other one would go to Tuesday.
do whatever the board wants to do. It's the
You
board
don't
vote.
receive anything, Earl? I thought he was supposed to make contact with everybody.
Yeah, he sent an email to me and Earl and, sent it off.
But the only one I remember is this one.
Right, well, these were the changes that he wanted to make.
So I don't remember the other schedule.
All right, this was the original schedule. The 25th of October, we were just to send his,
So that date's okay.
that one is actually
Not changing.
okay because we're just making sure that this budget committee gets it. So he wanted to change November 1st to possibly the Tuesday or the Wednesday.
But it's still November 1st written there.
November 1st is staying there.
November 1st stays.
That one is staying?
Yeah, the date's
Yep,
right
it's
there.
the one that says you see the 8th will go to the 7th.
That's what he wants here.
So it's actually you said
That's the-
Tuesday, so that's, the 7th would be a
All right,
Wednesday.
well, this is what he
Yeah,
sent
a
to us and
Wednesday,
wanted
yeah.
us to change it, so,
We were the 8th, now we're the 7th.
okay, so he wants the 7th?
Which is a Wednesday.
Tuesday.
No.
It's a Tuesday.
It'd be a 6th would be Tuesday.
It's
No.
Oh,
Wednesday, the
it's
7th.
Wednesday, you're right.
I'm sorry, okay.
These
It
are
starts
open
on Monday.
slots. Okay, these are open slots that we have. He asked me about it, and we have one board member who will not make any of them.
Okay, and then
Unless we
move-
make changes?
Yes,
That's the only reason we're making changes, because
Okay.
we did not know this.
So he wants to change this one
right, to the 13th, from the
What's the what?
15th to the
and
13th.
this one.
That one, only if we needed, and we've never needed more than the 3 presentations.
That's all we should do is 3. We're not gonna-
Well,
That November?
yeah,
I got the 11th, I got the 15th to the 13th, but what was the first one, the 7th to the 6th?
8th to the 7th.
Oh, 11, 8,
so it's up to the board if they'd like to change it.
I mean, it's a
I already have a commitment.
grand total of a day, moving to a
You
day.
have a commitment to the 7th?
For a PTA meeting, so the first Wednesday of the month.
That's why we stayed away from those Wednesdays, and we wanted to add extra beforehand.
Yeah, we're gonna probably need those.
Yeah.
Wednesday for the budget or the Tuesdays for budget preparation.
Yeah, because we don't have our schedule yet.
No, we don't, we're gonna make it. So what would the board like to do? Stay with the old one or go to the new?
As long as I know in advance what days we need.
Well, we gotta schedule our time.
Right, that's what I'm saying, I need to know.
Right, but if we move those dates to
We can move-
accommodate, then we can have those dates for us.
what I don't want to happen, we move it and then they want us to move it again.
Yep.
And then, that's really making it
Okay,
really
what were the dates
inconvenient for us.
It's 11/8 to 11/7 and 11/15 to 11/13.
So what does the board like to do? I have no problem.
You're in October.
Do we have a motion
You're
in
in
a second?
October.
Yep, what days? What
I
days?
make a
November
motion that we
8th,
make
Oh,
the
November
changes.
7th.
Okay,
And then 11/13 to 11/15.
that, as of right now, I have no trials, so that's fine for me.
Or it could change?
Hey, Laura,
know,
Laura
right?
can't
Anything
make
can
one
change,
of
but
those
as of
days.
right now, that's fine.
I can't make the 7th because
Laura
I have to
can't
be at
make
the
one
PTA. My
of those
PTA
days.
meeting's at 6 o'clock, so.
So why would we change something to when
So,
Laura can't
if-
come?
No, but we
Can
can't
we
come.
counter offer and say we'll do the 6th?
I like that.
No, because it's a planning board meeting.
It's gonna get confusing.
Yeah, so what happened is the calendar was based,
It's
Bob
all
did a
set,
really good
right.
job, was based on access to this room or availability for this room. We can have ours at the community room, but
Right.
we're actually presenting to them. So,
You made the motion to change. Or are you changing that motion? Did you have a second?
well, we never did have a second.
Okay.
So, Laura, since you cannot make one of them,
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, go
You
ahead.
know, we had this original, and unfortunately, nobody said that that was gonna be a problem until the meeting before last. Your
last
board
one.
members have to make it. It's gonna be one of those things. Now, Sean, I gotta leave it up to him, but I try to fit this person in, and I think it's still not gonna work somewhere else. So I agreed with him. I told him it was okay with me, but you people also have to all be there as well, because you are a number of 5 and we are 9. There's a difference.
I will, all right, whatever motion I just made.
Take it back.
I-
Don't go anywhere if you don't second it.
Okay, all right, well, I will now make a motion that we will, or can move from November 15th, which is a Thursday, to November 13th to accommodate.
11:15
But
to 11:13.
The 8th stays.
But the 8th stays as it is.
But 11 stays.
I'll second that motion.
You're just gonna move one day,
Yep, the 15th to the 13th.
and we'll get a new schedule.
Bob?
Because what's gonna happen, we're gonna have 3 or 4 different schedules out there. We got one out there already, we got this new one, and we're gonna have the revised one. Does Nate see a problem with this? So we'll be able to make our meetings and do our job, and do our best to get it in on time.
Yes.
Do I have any other discussion? Laura?
Aye.
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 I am concerned. I just hope we don't
Can't
come
write
back.
I'm concerned.
That's a vote.
I'll give you my vote. I am concerned.
All right, you know what I will do?
Is that a yes?
Yes, it's,
Bob?
I said aye.
If you have this online, and if you want to send the whole thing as it is to me,
I gotta let Sean does it, do that.
Sean has it on. Actually, you know what? It's on the thing.
on-
But I think it's PDF though, isn't it?
You can
Thanks,
change
Tom.
the PDF.
Well, yeah, it has to be PDF.
Yep.
It's on Google Docs. He'll give you the link to it.
Okay. All right. I will update something for us once we get our own dates. Okay?
All right.
Does that sound fair?
And that's what I was
Neighbors
gonna
are
say, can we discuss that at the next meeting?
What part?
The,
Our dates to meet?
board one, yeah.
Oh, I expect to have, put it on the agenda for the
Yeah.
next meeting.
Yep, okay.
Oh, we're not doing that tonight? Oh, my
No.
God.
Nate, did you by any chance get me that pay down schedule for the taxes?
I do have it, yeah.
Can I have a copy for me or for everybody?
I have enough for everyone.
Good. The board might be interested in that document.
Yes, and whole business. Oh, my God, we're done.
Listen,
Is that 8
You don't want to know what time it is.
What?
You don't want to know what time it is.
Okay, it's only
I
7:55. It's not 9. 8:55.
Although it feels like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I
need
know, I-
your time.
Did I get the rest of that stuff? That's your stuff.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All this is the pay down schedule that we get from the town
Okay.
for our bill.
And this, gets adjusted once the tax rate comes out.
Yeah.
So it's,
We'll
this
give
is
one
the
to,
preliminary one,
it would be nice to
and then we
know.
have the finalized one in December.
Sure, yes.
Now you gotta remember, these are, people don't realize, even though our budget is $10,000, 500, technically we're only raising $6,600,000. That'll be less because overall we'd be giving back $1 anyway.
Yeah, the bottom number where it says, return to tax rate, for example, that's an estimate. I estimated 100,000, so, when this was done in May. So that'll go up to 365,000.
Okay.
We did a good job, people.
Good. Good job.
Okay. The only question I need to ask, and I gave you all homework. But then, you don't remember what I sent you?
I don't know.
The letter that went out? There, what we want to present for negotiations?
I think you can
Oh,
get it
yes,
done.
yes,
Yeah,
we
we
need to
don't-
do that
we don't
during,
We will, I'm just asking if it's done.
yes.
Who's gonna get it done is gonna get a, set in the corner with a dunce cap.
Excuse me. Excuse me. Look at
Okay,
this.
moving on. Do you have any
Yes,
public
sir.
comments?
Here, excuse me, would you like to look at this, please? That, okay?
Why do I want to look at that?
Because you asked if we did our homework.
I didn't send it. Okay. You need a motion to go into non-public pursuant of, no, I need a motion and a second.
Motion for non-public.
Yeah, I'll read it after.
A second?
I'm sorry. Okay. Under RSA 91A, 32, A, B, C, I think there's a D and another one that's C, I think. Okay.
The
we're in-
spin seats were installed.
You only did second it, you didn't vote yet.
Oh, I didn't see. I'm getting tired.
Aye.
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 You guys are sleeping too. Thanks. Yeah. So we're in non-public.